Thanks for choosing A1 Bail Bonds. We know you have a lot of choices, and we're happy that you chose A1. Now, here's a little word about travel. Super important that if you plan on leaving the state of Hawaii, which means going to the mainland, going to Asia, wherever in the world outside of the state of Hawaii, it's super important to get permission from the court before you leave. A majority of the time, the court just says yes, so it's very easy to just get in contact with your attorney, let them know that you want to travel, give those flight arrangements and location details to your attorney so that your attorney could just put in a motion to leave the jurisdiction. Once the court approves your motion, then it's all good. You could travel freely and then you can come back to Hawaii just for court appearances. Now, if you don't get permission to leave the jurisdiction and you still go, that opens up a whole can of worms that we don't want any of our clients to go through. Number one, technically you're violating a condition of your release by leaving the state without permission. Number two, if the prosecutor's office catches wind that maybe you were on the mainland when you didn't get permission, or maybe something unexpected happens and you get arrested on the mainland for something you totally couldn't have predicted. Or I've even had clients where the victim somehow, or the family of the victim somehow finds out that you left the jurisdiction, and then they snitch you out and they go right to the prosecutor's office with that information, and then you're smoked. They caught you. You don't want to leave and then have the prosecutor's office put in a motion to revoke your bail or to increase your bail. These things are all totally avoidable. But in order to do that, you just have to be in communication with one, your attorney, two, the bail bond company, because we'd like to advocate for you. And if the court ever said, hey, did you know so-and-so planned on leaving, we could truthfully represent to the court, yes, they cleared that with us, we support them in going, and sometimes we even write letters to help support clients in getting, maybe they just want to go to school on the mainland and then come back for hearings, or maybe they're in the military and they've been restationed somewhere, or they're just going to do training somewhere and then they need to go ahead and travel back and forth. A lot of things happen. As long as you get permission from the court to leave, you're all good. Now, specific to probation violations, this is just for a probation violation. Because you're on probation, that means even if you want to just go to a neighbor island like Kauai, Maui, Big Island, you gotta let your PO know, which is your probation officer, and you gotta get permission from the court. Specific to probation violations, even if you're just going to go work in Maui for the day and come back, you still gotta get permission, because when you're on probation, you're not allowed to leave the island. However, if you're just a normal bail client, you're a normal pretrial client who just got out of custody, you could travel back and forth between all the islands, because as I've been told by some heavy-hitting attorneys who know exactly, they've been in this situation before, if you're traveling within the state of Hawaii, you're still in the state of Hawaii. So if you got to go work and do a project, maybe on the Big Island for a week or something, you could totally just do that and be fine. That's when you're on bail pre-trial, because you're still in the state of Hawaii. If you're in Kauai, that's still Hawaii. If you're on the Big Island, that's still the state of Hawaii. Now, if you're on probation, if you had a probation violation and then you bail out, now, because you're on probation, you're supposed to stay on the island that your probation is on. So if you're on probation here on Oahu, you gotta stay on Oahu. And even if you gotta leave, just get permission from the court, and then you can go to Kauai for a funeral or a wedding or whatever the purpose might be. Super important. If you're gonna travel pre-trial, get permission from the court. You could travel among all the islands, it's fine. But if you're on probation, you can't leave the island until you actually get permission from the court. So that should help you stay bench warrant free and have a favorable outcome. Thank you very much. Bye.